Guys, what's going on? Summer del Piso, back once again with another video. Today, we're gonna do a little bit of a video game character analysis, right? With one of my favorite video games, if not top 3 of my favorite video games of all time, right? So let's get into it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Of course, more importantly, let's get into the topic of today's video. So the game in question that I'm talking about is The World Ends With You. The Japanese original title was called It's a Wonderful World. I played them both. In fact, I played this game so many times over that I just can't, I actually don't know the exact number. I played it on, when it was for DS, when it was under It's a Wonderful World in Japanese. I played it when they came out with the English translation. I played it when it came out on the iOS. When it played out on the Switch. I actually love this game. The story is kind of hazy in my head. So I'm gonna do my best to talk about this character and his relations to the different aspects of the story. So we're gonna, the game from here on out is gonna be called The World Ends With You. And the character that I am talking about is Mr. Hanekoma, or Sane Hanekoma. This character is incredibly powerful and is incredibly symbolic. Who he was a seemingly very innocent character that was a bartender or the owner of the Cafe Wildcat, which was in some neighborhood in Tokyo in the game. And what he represented to the main character, Neku Sakuraba, was the basically a help, a sort of guide. But this is gonna be spoiler territory, so remember, spoiler alert, right? As continuing this video, understand that there's gonna be spoilers. Sane Hanekoma is, even though he was a human being, in reality, he was actually an angel. And at the end of the game, he was given the title as Fallen Angel. You see, what this character did was, there was another character in the game, acting, not composer, but the game master. The game, basically there was the Reaper's game that occurred every single week. In the various days, there were various missions that one had to carry out, and if you complete this mission, you will not get erased. Now, where these games took place, you know, I said earlier Tokyo, so assumingly, you probably think, oh, it's the real world, but in fact, it is another reality. It's another level parallel to the real world called the UG, the underground. Think of it as some sort of purgatory. And when souls are meant to be tried, they go through this purgatory, this underground, and they get tested in these Reaper's games. If they win the games for the week, which means that they are one of the last players standing and they didn't get erased, they have an opportunity to perhaps ascend to the back. They'll go back, sorry. They have a chance to go back to the real world, the real ground, or have a chance to ascend and become either a Reaper, which is one of the employees and staff members of the game that makes sure that the players don't go out of line, or allow yourself to rejoin the game, right? I don't know why you do that, but there are various characters in the game with various motivations, so take that as you will. They're not necessarily important to the video. So Hanekoma, Mr. Hanekoma, was a fallen angel. What he was a being from the higher planes, higher than the real ground, higher than even that. And he was sent to the game in order to keep an eye on the composer. The composer basically had an idea or had a plan to destroy Japan. He wanted to erase Japan because he felt that human beings were too solipsistic, too selfish, and too interested in personal gain at the expense of other people. And he wanted to start the things anew. Sort of like a very interesting parallel story in the Bible, right? As we know about the flood. So there were people pleading with him. I think that Hanekoma pleaded with the composer saying, listen, you have to give us one more chance. We know that the humans are not the best kind of people, but we can't just erase them. That's just not how things work. Give them a chance to redeem themselves. So he said this, the composer, I will select a proxy. I will bring someone into the Reaper's game, and that will be my proxy. I will monitor his progress in the game. And they chose Neku Sakuraba. This character was very, very shy, or not really shy. He just wanted to keep to himself. He didn't want to share his experiences with others. He just wanted to rely on himself and only himself. He didn't want to talk to anyone. He didn't want to have friends. So he said, the composer, if this individual is able to change at the end of the Reaper's game, I will remain my hand. I will stay my hand from destroying Tokyo. So what happened was Neku went through the game, and of course, he changed for the better, actually. You gotta play, this game is genius. Metaphysical genius, literary genius. It's a very excellent game. A lot of that change was due to the indirect influence of Sane Hanekoma. Now, Hanekoma, I said earlier that he became a fallen angel because there was another character in the game, which I'm definitely going to include in a later episode of the video game character analysis, because this is one of my favorite characters. It's this mathematician that's obsessed with numbers, and he was interested in usurping the composer's title and become the composer, right, to inflict his own rule or for his own ambitions. He was known as the usurper, or the attempted usurper. He didn't accomplish his plan. By the way, there is a sequel to this game, and he is still continuing his plan. More spoiler alerts. What's going on? So, it's very, very interesting. So what Hanekoma had to do with this usurper was he gave him the designs for a sigil on summoning a special type of monster, a special type of noise, a special type of creature. But he did that only because he had to continue the story. He had to continue the game in a correct way, in the most objective way. Why is it that I'm even describing this character? What is so important about Mr. Hanekoma that it sort of required an episode to talk about him? So what this character represents is the ultimate objective good, and why what Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. He had so much insight and so much ability to influence the Reaper's game, and he wanted to uphold the rule of the composer, right? Ultimately keeping his identity secret and continuing the game as it was intended to be continued. So as a result, he influenced a lot, he pulled a lot of strings in order to allow the game to continue. That is very, very relevant to what we do, individuals of semen retention. You see, before semen retention, before this practice of retaining your force and advancing your mind, getting creative ability, and sort of influencing the world in a very, very positive way, we were afraid of the world. We were trying to get over on the world. We were trying to take advantage of the ignorant, the less fortunate. And that's not how life is supposed to be lived. We're not supposed to be taking advantage of the weaker. We are not supposed to be oppressing them. Rather, we're supposed to be uplifting souls. We're supposed to be teaching souls. We are supposed to be inspiring their creative faculties in order so they could in turn inspire the creative faculties of the people that will come after them, right? And to slowly make the world a better place. That was what Mr. Hanekoma did. By teaching the sigil to create the taboo noise, or to summon the taboo noise, to show Minamoto, that is his name, right? Powerful mathematician, so genius, right? He literally is a genius. By teaching him to the invocation sigil, he was able to propagate the story in an objectively good way, where the least amount of casualties will get hurt. There will be the least amount of casualties. There wouldn't be a lot of collateral. And as we advance on our personal journeys of semen retention, we need to encompass that archetype of Mr. Hanekoma in our lives. We are meant to inspire individuals of the world. There are individuals that are not on this practice that have gained their way, that have grown in this world, just grown literally, as in got older, and have not learned the necessary steps in order to truly advance this world, in order to truly inspire, be collaborative, compassionate, benevolent. And it is our job to take that sacrifice, to sacrifice ourselves, to sacrifice the ways of our sanity, even, in order to maintain the flow of this world. We are supposed to spread compassion. We're supposed to spread creativity. As practitioners of semen retention, naturally we're gonna get those influences from the higher realms, from the higher grounds, the higher places, the higher levels. And we bring that into this world as the world's conditions allow us to bring that energy, to bring that creativity. And then we do things. We create policies that are for the better of the public, not for the benefit of the family, the few, the secret societies, right? This is not what we do. Mr. Hanekoma, although he was loyal to a cause, right? He was still branded as someone fallen. He was still branded as someone evil because he disobeyed the rules in order to keep the rules in place. I'm not saying that our journeys are going to be that drastic. I'm not saying that they're going to be that crazy. But I am saying that being 8 months on this practice, complete celibacy, no masturbation, no women, nothing. I have realized a lot about this world, and I've realized a lot about the nature of the interactions behind the people of this world. And we do not have to succumb to the traditions of the old, right? Which is having a family, creating wealth at the expense of others. We do not have to fall into these things because our forefathers have done it. That doesn't make any sense. Rather, we are allowed to expand. We have gatekeepers of separate cultures, right? We need to spread creativity. We need to break into those cultures. It doesn't matter if they're gatekept. Example, Chinese people are obviously going to gatekeep other individuals that are not Chinese from learning Mandarin, right? Because that's just, you're not supposed to not look like them and speak that language. Or say, for example, what Kanye West did when he started off as a musician, but broke into the fashion industry and decided to try to be a creative director on the levels of Karl Lagerfeld, who was given his house by Chanel herself, right? Coco Chanel herself. It doesn't matter what the opposition is. It doesn't matter what the obstacles are. It doesn't matter if you are going to be branded a fallen angel. What we must do is bring the power of creativity that is inspired from the higher realms, the higher grounds, into this world and change it for the better. Destroy and discard tradition insofar as its limiting faculties, right? Its limiting definitions, right? You do not have to be who the world deems you to be or who the world tells you to be, right? Go into an all-Irish pub. Go into an Italian-American bar as a person that's not Italian-American or Irish. Live your life. Understand these things and get experiences to bridge the two worlds, to bridge the disparate worlds of this world, of this reality together in order to forge a new shining future. Follow the steps of Mr. Hanekoma. Play the game, but be of the higher realms and spread creativity in order to maintain the game, right? In order to advance and ascend in the game and the individuals in the game. And with that being said, that is all I have to say today. If you enjoyed that content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. I really like The World Ends With You. I don't know if you guys ever played this game, but I don't really sort of push video games on the channel, but I definitely urge you guys to play the game. The game is incredibly powerful. The secret reports that talk about the behind the scenes of, not the creation of the game, but the behind the scenes story, behind the scenes plot of the plot that we were shown in the game is a literary work of genius. We learned so many things about metaphysics. We learned so many things about the interactions of individuals in that game and what people represent, what they symbolize, what order symbolizes in that game. Is a genius game, and I recommend that individuals of all walks of life need to spend some time playing this game. Let go of the alcohol, let go of the cigarettes, let go of the sex, and just play the game. Understand what is being said, what is being given to us, what's being imparted to us. And also, there is a sequel to the game, Neo: The World Ends With You, that's not as good, but it's pretty good in its own right, which continues the story as well. So check it out, check it out. Closing statement is, be like Mr. Hanekoma. He was in the game in order to keep tabs on the proxy as he goes through this design game by the composer to see if Tokyo is worthy to survive. And despite being humiliated, despite almost having his identity revealed, but despite interfering in the game and getting branded an ugly title, he still carried on with the mission to maintain and create and bring inspiration and to continue the plan. And we need to do that as practitioners of semen retention, as people that are trying to ascend. So don't ever let this world get you down, and stay radiant. I shall see you guys in the next video.